I'm honored, privileged to be here, and to kick off this workshop escape series with, for me, what is the most important thing in this dance, and it is approach. So I have a lot of great things planned within this 30 minutes, but I want to kick it off with first defining what approach means to me. So, in a simple way, I think the approach to your dance and the approach to specific moves is the how, the what, and the why behind the moves, the source behind the moves. So I know a lot of interpretation of this dance is done on the surface. And what I mean by that is we can look at the moves that are done and we can clearly see that, right? We can clearly see flares, six steps, CCs, windmills, head tracks. We can clearly label and define these, right? But what is not so easily seen is the things that come from the source of an artist's soul, which is the approach to this dance, right? So there are specific exercises and drills that I have worked with my students in order to properly understand approach. And we're going to be starting with one today that deals specifically with footwork. So the drill, and I encourage, again, everybody at home to participate and do this as well. This is really easy to do and incorporate into your daily regimen. But what you're going to be doing is spending 3 minutes straight of constant flow within footwork. Before we dive into that, let me explain to you why that matters when it comes to approach, right? So more often than not, I have found that B-boys and B-girls, the traditional way of practicing is turning on a mix, right? A mix that you can find on YouTube or SoundCloud or whatever it may be. And these mixes have a certain BPM, traditional BPM, like around 120, 140 sometimes. And it's really, and this is beneficial as well, but it's really common for us to just go hard in this practice and also spend time in it. But I find that traditionally B-boys and B-girls, especially some of the younger generation, spend time in this tempo and on this BPM and in this feeling and in this approach too often. And it's really good to slow things down. So that's what we're going to be doing within this 30 minutes. Let me clarify in this. When I say slow things down, it doesn't mean to compromise form and compromise strength. Slowing things down doesn't mean weak, right? Slowing things down doesn't mean just slow motion. That's not what it means. It means really spending time within certain foundational footwork steps and within your flow to understand the why and the approach to these steps, right? So before we go into this 3-minute drill, let's talk about a specific step, like a kick out, right? So with a kick out, I think it's really important, and what we'll do with this drill is to understand the feeling of this, right, in this position. I'm a big proponent, and I think it's true throughout any step and any move in breaking, that everything is full body, right? So even something with footwork like might seem really heavy on the legs, or let's say top rock for example, you need to incorporate every single part of your body in every single move that you do in breaking. So if I take a kick out, for example, my hips matter, my shoulder matters, my other arm matters, my head matters, right? My neck matters. These details are really important, and they play a role specifically into the approach of your moves, right? So with this drill, whenever 3 minutes go on the clock, I want you to spend time flowing in and out of moves, in and out of positions, right? In and out of different things with footwork. Spending time to really understand these details. How my shoulder is positioned, how my feet are on the ground, how my ankle is, right? What this arm is doing up here. If you do this drill correctly and you're able to spend 3 minutes of constant flow, at the end of the 3 minutes, you're going to be pretty winded, right? Especially if this is your first time doing it. But you're going to leave that 3 minutes really understanding your approach to footwork, right? That why, that how, that what behind your footwork, right? So we're going to turn on the music, and I want everybody to get ready. Let me first tell you that we call this home position at Break Free. So home position is your footwork position, what you start with. And I want everybody to get in this right now, right? Let me see your home position. Knees away from your chest, chest up, ready to rock, right? So when I turn on this music, when MVP kicks up this music, 3 minutes are on the clock, and your objective is to spend 3 straight minutes of constant flow. Really spending time understanding these footwork steps, these moves, making adjustments throughout, right? And your objective is, for one, to showcase variety, right? not run out of moves, not run out of ideas, and not spend time going in and out of the same flows. And two, it is to test your stamina. I know this is the mental, but there is a mental aspect behind stamina, right? If your mind is racing and your mind is constantly racing, that's going to affect your stamina. So I want you to focus on clearing your mind, listening to the music, and really spending time flowing in and out of footwork, right? In different positions, in different footwork steps that you do know, right? And third, the objective is to really, as you are freestyling and flowing with this, within this 3 minutes, I want you to really think about your approach, right? We use the kick out for an example, but if it's a CC, if it's a sweep, what is your approach to it? Are you trying, let's take a sweep for an example. Are you trying to extend your leg out as much as possible? Are you trying to generate as much momentum as possible? These are the whys, these are the questions that instantaneously you need to ask yourself as you're flowing within these 3 minutes. So is everybody ready? Who's ready to rock? Let me see home position. Whenever this music starts, you have 3 minutes to constantly flow and figure out your approach within these 3 minutes. MVP, kick in the music. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Take your time, you got 3 minutes. Hand positions, level. We're about 30 seconds in. Different hand positions, different adjustments. Remember, it's full body. Take your time, breathe. Keep it moving, constant flow throughout. We're approaching the 2-minute mark. Flow, let's see it. Stay in that forward position. T-minus 45 seconds. Keep it flowing. Last 30 seconds, let's go. see you guys. Let's get it. You got 20 seconds. Hand positions, adjustments, angles. What is your approach to your movements? 15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, yes. MVP because of music. Very good. How's everyone feel? Good? Yes, yes. Looking really, really fresh, y'all. So, I want you to stretch out your legs, guys. Whenever I'm talking, please stay active. This is dipping a little bit into the physical part of it, but I want y'all to make it a common thing for you guys, like to have active rest. Meaning, instead of just sitting down and waiting, right, you could be moving still throughout and stretching, right? Staying active, holding positions that you know are key to breaking, right? So stretch out, stay active as I wrap up and review that drill we just did, and then we prepare for the next, okay? First of all, for me, and I want you guys to answer this within yourselves as well, that for me is the funnest part of breaking. That's the best part of breaking. That's the exploration, right? I love battling too. Battling comes like a close second. But number one for me is that exploration aspect, y'all. We put 3 minutes on the clock, but you can really use this to do however length of time that you do want. 1.5 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6, build it up, of course, right? And each time frame and length presents its own challenges and unique objectives with it, right? That you can personally create within yourself. So I can also, like if we were to run this back, like let's just say in 2 minutes I say, let's do it again. I would look for, you know, if I'm doing this personally myself and for you guys as students, if I'm looking, I want you guys to have a totally different approach for the second round of doing it, right? And we can relate that to just rounds. Like let's just say it's a 2-round battle, a 3-round battle, whatever it may be. You should be able to adopt certain approaches to each one of those rounds, specific to the music. Specific to the music. Let me put an emphasis on that. All of this talk about approach and the how, the what, and the why, all of that is driven by the music, right? You guys hear it all the time. Music is key. Music is the #1 thing. But I think more emphasis needs to be placed on the details of that, like what that really means. What does music is the key really mean? So reduce it to a simple level. Like when you guys listen to music, it should fire off different emotions within yourself personally, right? So simple emotions, it might make you feel happy, might make you feel sad, it might bring up a certain memory, right? And those need to be the fuel, those emotions and those feelings need to be the fuel for your approach, if that makes sense, right? So within this specific drill, right, I was listening to this song, which comes from our Solidarity album. Our contributing producers, our original music, much love and shout out to them. But I had certain feelings and different reactions to this music as I was flowing in and out of it, right? Certain parts of that song made me feel bouncy, right? So with my footwork, I might have approached a certain bounce type of way. Certain parts of that song might make me feel sharp. So I wanted to approach a more sharp type of a style, right? Certain parts of that song make me want to flow. So I might have adopted a more certain specific type of water flow to it, right? These are all examples, but it really is limitless. Like, think about this in a simple way, y'all. The type of feelings you can have are limitless, right? You have your own personal feelings and reactions to music and environments and anything that inspires you, and you need to use that to your advantage. What I mean by that is, you know, that comes into storytelling. And you hear that a lot too, storytelling is key. But where does that story come from? Where does that authenticity come from? It comes from within and in that source, right? And relating this specifically to this footwork drill that we did, right? Footwork is the most B-boy and B-girl specific thing that there is, right? Ken Swift has a quote. I'm going to butcher this quote. I don't know exactly what it is. But he says something along the lines of like, footwork, if you're not doing footwork, you're not breaking, right? But what that means specifically, and what I've always interpreted that as, is we have dynamics and power moves that draws inspiration from gymnastics. Like you see flares in gymnastics, right? You see flips in tumbling. Even with top rock, you see, salsa steps. You see different things from different other genres and other inspirations. But with footwork, this is the only thing that exists within breaking and was created with breaking. That's what I interpret it as. So relating it to this specific drill, y'all, going back to approach, I think when it comes to making footwork look powerful, it is all about how you approach it. It all starts with up here. Tomorrow, you will learn about the physical aspect of it. You will learn about how to specifically train yourself to get sharper, to get more stamina, to get more of your form on point with footwork. But this is why we started with the mental today, because it all starts with that. It all starts with how you feel when you're going into footwork, right? You have to make that decision in your head that, man, I'm going to make this CC look like a power move. I'm going to make this six step look like a flare, right? Until you make that conscious effort and decision in your head, it's not going to look like that. That's what approach is, okay? So now, going over into the next drill, this is going to tap in a little more into the feelings of it, right? And going into approach. So we're not going to stick just with footwork now. We're going to open it up to a full round. So you're up to play from the top to the bottom. You can freestyle this, right? But I'm going to give you guys a certain approach to the round in order to do it, right? So we're going to do about 45 seconds. I'm going to put 45 seconds on the clock. And I want you to throw around, and I'm going to give you a certain aesthetic, a certain approach to it, right? So everybody can get ready. You guys can start in footwork or on top with top rock, whatever you feel like. Get ready as I finish up these instructions. But your objective is to take this approach that I'm giving you and display it in your round and freestyle within that certain approach. So this first one, we're going to go with a bounce, right? We talked about a bounce. So I don't know what song is going to play, but even so, some songs might not make you feel bouncy, right? But that's not the point of this drill. The point of the drill is also to challenge you. And how can you take a bouncy type approach like 90s hip hop, right? That's the best way I can think about it. So like this type of bounce, how can you apply that to your round in your approach? So you are free to have the creativity, do whatever you want, top rock, footwork, power moves, whatever. But let me see a bounce 90s hip hop type of approach to it, all right? So everybody, let's actually stand up, okay? We'll start from the top. Everyone will start in the same starting point, okay? So first, I think what would be useful, let me display a round first. I'll do a 30-second round, and I'll show a bounce type approach to it, and then you guys will get the chance to do it. So for this first round, please just watch. I will display a bounce type approach to it, okay? So MVP whenever you're ready. Before you guys go into it, I hope I was able to display that bounce approach to it, okay? So let me be clear about this too. It's not about being perfect. You guys know this already. You might miss the mark. You might not feel your round after, but that's okay. That's what the progress is. So maybe your individual style is not bouncy. Maybe you've never tried a bouncy round before, but that's the challenge in it. I want you guys to feel that uncomfortability because that's where the progress happens, okay? So admittedly, like this song They're not bouncy at all. They're hard hitting. Boom, ta, ticka, ticka, boom, ta, boom, ta, ticka, ticka, ta. But the challenge is for you to display this bounce approach to it. Is everybody good on that? All right, let me see you stand up. Get ready. So you have between 30 and 45 seconds. When you finish your round, just finish clean, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Whenever you hear that music, let's see it. Bounce.
You gotta use what you got to get what you want.
You got about 15, 20 seconds. I hope that felt good, y'all. I don't know if any of you guys have experimented with that type of style. It's a real simple approach, right? A bounce type style. But I hope that can open your eyes. Like maybe you've never tried a bounce type style to music like that, but that's the challenge, right? That's where you learn things from. So we're gonna go straight into the next approach, right? Kind of go on the opposite side of the spectrum. And now I'm gonna look for a sharp approach, angles, right? Hard hitting, strikes, lightning strikes, right? So from your top rock to your footwork, everything, I want to see you guys approach it in a sharp mentality. You're trying to be like a knife, a sword, a sharpened sword, cutting. That's the approach to this round, okay? Just like before, let me try and display a sharp approach to a round, and then you guys can go after me. So please just study and watch this first one, and then you guys will get the chance. MVP whenever you're ready. So, again, hopefully I was able to display a sharp style with that one, right? This is all freestyle, as I want it to be the same for you. So same approach now. Opposite side of the spectrum. Sharp, hard hitting, lightning strikes, right? All the way from the top to the bottom. You guys ready? Everybody up. When that music starts, let's see that iron sharp blade. Let's go. Keep it going, you got about 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna call somebody up on this. So, very, very good. I love what I saw. I have about 3 minutes left. I really wanted to hear what you guys feel about approach, at least from one person. So I'm gonna call on one person. When I call on you, please get ready to speak. I'm gonna chat with you real quick, really brief. And I'm looking at the screen. MVP, could you pull up B-Girl Key? Please pull up B-Girl Key. So we're gonna get Key from the Africa East region. I know she battled and she was a big part of the solidarity battle. So let's see if we can get B-Girl Key onto the screen. Before we do,
hey.
Yes, I can hear you. What up, Key?
Hi, what's up, Jeremy?
How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. Oh, this is amazing.
Oh, thank you. So how did you, if you could summarize like the approach aspect of this dance, could you first maybe, I think this is the way to frame the question, is what was your idea of approach before this workshop? And now did your idea of approach change after? What did you feel about these drills that you just went through?
So before this approach, the way I've been moving, it's mostly been inspired by the flow of the music. So I've never put so much thought into how I move. It was just driven by the feeling of music. But with this approach, at least mostly with the bounce style,
Yeah.
I think it gives you the direction on how to move and also how to like completely like move the entire body, but also get to feel comfortable when you're flowing. So it gives you that smooth transition to other. Let's say if you come from top of, gives you a smooth transition to one. And
Yes.
the sharp one, it just makes you feel it makes you feel like you own the movements themselves, Like everything is intentional, so that's what is so powerful about it, because at least it gives you a sense of direction when you're moving.
Thank you. Yes, that's exactly. Go ahead, Key, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, it's all good.
No, I was saying, whenever, the thing that jumps out with what you said is a sense of direction. And that is very important to me. That's exactly how approach should be viewed. It should be viewed as a path that you take, an avenue. So you spoke about the music as one of the paths that you normally take, right? You let the music guide you. But then another avenue, another approach that you can combine with that with the music is your feelings, is your emotion, is a feeling of a bounce, of sharpness, of an iron, of blade, and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's exactly what I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So thank you, Key. Much love. I hope you enjoyed the workshop. We got Palmer. Yes, we got Palmer coming up next. So for all the workshop participants, yes, she's excited, Palmer. So for all the workshop participants and everybody viewing on the live stream, that was approach. That was a kickoff to the mental day. We got a very, very short break before we kick off with Palmer and his topic. So much love. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, please follow through. Hit me up if you want to speak about approach or anything, and I'm here for the rest of the escape days. Much love.